Welcome to CEAg Talks, the video series from CEAg World, a media site devoted to the business of growing food undercover, including greenhouse produce, vertical farms, and outdoor protected crops. Today we're welcoming Rob Eddy, horticulturist at Resource Innovation Institute. Rob has more than 30 years of experience managing plant growth facilities, performing plant research, and working in commercial production. He has written 3 guides on greenhouse production to date. Rob, thanks for joining us again.
Yeah, great to be here, Dana. Thank you for having me.
For today's conversation, we're going to focus on RII's guide for fire safety in high-tech greenhouses. While this guide was specifically made for code officials, fire marshals, and greenhouse developers, Rob will offer some insight on why this information is helpful for growers to know too. So for starters, Rob, what made you want to write this guide?
Well, thank you for pointing out, first of all, that what the audience is, that it is for code officials and fire marshals and greenhouse developers, and it's focused towards high-tech commercial greenhouses, and that's important. We'll get into that because public greenhouses, it's a whole nother ball game about what kind of fire safety codes you're going to have to comply with. The reason that we jumped into it was that we were hearing from our network of large growers in CEA and also from the greenhouse construction firms who partner with us. We were hearing that this was, if not a barrier, it was at least a bottleneck to the growth of CEA facilities. And that when you move into a new jurisdiction, these are massive wholesale production greenhouses. And so often they're going to be located in rural districts who have never seen a modern greenhouse. So they don't quite know what to expect. And then that becomes difficult because is it an agriculture building? Is it a factory? Is it a utility building? And those conversations are nuanced. And we realized as soon as we heard this that, hey, this was made for RII to do. We could convene some subject matter experts. I have friends going back decades who are greenhouse construction and designers. And we could bring together people and come up with an impartial guide. And because we're a nonprofit, we have no commercial interest in what happens. We have interest, but we don't have monetary interest, I should say. And so we knew that we could write a guide that would help these nuanced conversations between greenhouse owners, operators, builders, and these local code officials just to make everything go more smoothly.
Well, as you know, growers comprise most of our audience. What can they take away from this guide?
Well, one thing is, if you're thinking about building another greenhouse in a new jurisdiction, that it's good to get in touch with these local officials early. You often hear this as good advice, and it is to start the conversation early. Let them know what you're going to build. Let them know things like that if the occupancy is going to be low, that's important to help classify the building, how much automation there's going to be, that there's not a lot of combustible materials, and that it's mostly plants, which are mostly water, kind of reminding people, these plants, they're 95% water. So just starting those conversations. We hope that this guide would also be of help to the growers to have these conversations. And if they're the greenhouse construction firm, they could even, share the document with the local code officials because again, it's a third-party source that is non-biased, and that might help with the conversations. So that's one of the things. Get involved in those conversations early. I think the ones that often get forgotten would be communicating with your fire officials, communicating with that fire department, inviting them in. If you have an existing facility, inviting them in. If you're designing one, inviting them to one of the construction meetings or one of the meetings with the local code officials and explain this to them, because then they're the ones who are going to ultimately make the call on this is how many escape doors you need, how many exit doors you need. Because the local code official might give you a little bit of lenience towards how many exits you need to have because, again, these are massive production greenhouses with hardly anyone in them. and you can get through them pretty quickly. Once you get to that main aisle, you can get a long way in a short amount of time. But also to get those fire officials aware of what kind of things you're going to be storing there. How can they have an access to the list? You're going to be keeping a pesticide inventory and a chemical inventory already to comply with regulations. Find out if there's a way that you can have that available quickly to the fire department so they know what's going on when they get there.
Well, Rob, thank you so much for joining me again, and I'm sure we'll talk again sometime soon.
I look forward to it. I'll see you later, Dana. Thank you.